TFI News met with Florida DOT Secretary Anath Prasad at the recent TFI News US P3 Forum to discuss recent developments in P3s in Florida.
Okay, Secretary, just last Friday the state concluded its legislative session. Can you give me an update on the results and conclusions from that?
Well, it was a great session, and from a transportation infrastructure standpoint, I'm very happy. Like I mentioned today, we're very bullish on investments in transportation infrastructure. Governor Scott and I believe that making investments in transportation infrastructure is going to create the environment for private sector to create jobs and grow the economy in the state of Florida. The couple of the major provision is they're redirecting $200 million of motor vehicle tag and title fees that were going into general revenue back into the Transportation Trust Fund, so we can build more infrastructure, ports, make investment in ports. But the other major policy change is what the governor and I have been laying out as part of the transportation vision for the 21st century in Florida is that we've got to go to a model where we include user fees as part of the revenue source. Gas tax as a funding source has been declining. Since 2006, we've lost $8 billion in revenues because of declining gas tax. The economic downturn has something to do with that also, but people are driving the same amount of distance but are driving in more fuel-efficient vehicles. So it's very important. So the legislature enacted some major policy decisions last week, and the thing is that we're going to invest in building more express lanes. Looking at any new capacity on limited access facilities, any replacement of new major river crossings will all be done by including tolls as part of the financing. What we're not looking for is the tolls to pay for it entirely, but is to kind of diversify, and even if the tolls on those systems generate 25%, 30%, 40% of the revenue, that's the revenue that we currently don't have. It will help us continue to advance much needed infrastructure projects that otherwise could not be because of the dynamic we're in with increased gas prices, increased fuel efficiency, and the people still driving the same amount of distance. So really a very bold legislative policy that we champion, and I'm very thankful for the governor, the speaker, and the Senate president in trying to get that across the finish line.
Looking at P3 projects currently in construction phase, in particular the I-595 and the Port of Miami Tunnel, how are these progressing now?
Very well. I was, in fact, was at the Port of Miami Tunnel yesterday. Visited it, and we're down to minus 85 feet on the government cut, and the project is progressing very well. And same with 595. 595 is at a midway point. It's 50% complete. They have met every milestone, either met it or actually beat it. In both projects, 595 is scheduled to finish by late 2013, early 2014, and Port of Miami Tunnel will be open in June 2014. Again, these projects, if not for public-private partnerships, would not have been delivered for decades. 595 was advanced at least 15 years. So, if you've driven the corridor, it's already congested, and for us to deliver a much needed improvement to an already congested corridor 15 years in advance is truly remarkable. And once those project is open and current users are already seeing the benefits as we make certain critical movement improvements, opening up more ramps, more flyovers, as the project, when it's fully done, I think you're going to have the true case example of how public-private partnership projects will bring much needed improvements in real time rather than sometime in the future.
And looking ahead now for the deal pipeline in Florida, you mentioned the I-75 and the I-4 express lanes in Orlando. Can you talk me through now the next steps of those two projects?
There's two projects that we're really excited about. One is the I-4 express lanes going through downtown Orlando. I-4 is one of our most congested corridor through Orlando area, and the project entails building 4 express lanes in the middle. We currently own the right-of-way, most of the right-of-way, about 90%, and so the next step is we're currently doing an investment-grade traffic and revenue, which should be done this month, after which we'll have a better idea on the financing of the project, and the next critical step would be to go to have an industry forum in June to to solicit interest, solicit ideas from public-private partnership firms on how to structure the contract that gets us the project, but it is also beneficial for all parties involved. The other project that we're very excited about is the I-75 managed lanes in Broward County around Fort Lauderdale. Currently, it's about a $300 million, $400 million project. We're again finishing up the investment grade traffic and revenue this month. The thing we're evaluating at our project is there's the next segment. I-75 touches down into a road called Palmetto Expressway in Miami-Dade County. And Palmetto Expressway currently carries 200,000 cars a day. It's very congested. Our goal is eventually to build managed lanes on Palmetto also. And we're currently doing the preliminary environmental work, and it's right on track. So we're currently evaluating, should we go with a separate procurement for I-75 managed lanes in Fort Lauderdale, or go with the combined option of I-75 and also managed lanes on Palmetto. Again, the timing of it would be do an industry forum this summer, and the goal would be is to get I-75 to a financial close in 2013, early 2013, and get I-4 to a financial close and get construction started in early 2014.
And Governor Scott, you mentioned, is a believer in infrastructure projects and job creation. It seems as though now the administration is pumped towards promoting P3 projects and general construction projects in general.
Exactly. Governor Scott is truly, and I call Governor the infrastructure governor. He's at the time he took office last year, he made investment in Port of Miami, trying to dredge it to 50 feet, continue to make infrastructure, because everything we do, whether you're going to work, you're going to shop, you're going to play, you use the infrastructure, whether it's the airports, seaports, or the highways. So it's very important for the vision that he's created for what he wants Florida to be, not only for the next 5 years, 10 years, for the next 20 years. It's very important that we have an infrastructure that helps, that facilitates private sector to make those investments. Why would private sector, if you're attracting the next Google to come down to Florida, or the next warehouse distribution center to move to Florida, they need to take, before they're willing to invest their millions of dollars into their project, we need to make sure that we create an environment and give them the certainty that the state of Florida is there to make the investment in infrastructure. And that's what he's trying to do. He's trying to make sure that we will have the infrastructure in place for private sector, so they don't have to take that variable in the discussions on when they invest or where they invest. We want them to invest in Florida, and we are very determined to make sure the infrastructure is in place to support that investment.
Secretary, thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you.